Hey, how's it going? I hope all of you are doing well. Welcome to Intro to Ethnic Studies. My name is Professor Isaacs. I just want to go through a few things with y'all, like a brief introduction, what is ethnic studies, and some things you need to know, like where stuff is in the class, and also perusal. So, a little bit about myself. I am from Los Angeles, California. I am neurodivergent. Um, I have ADHD, and I think it probably shows up in just obviously the entirety of my lived experience, but also how I show up as a professor. So, what that can mean or what that can look like is I might not respond to your email um, as quickly as you might expect sometimes. I will do my best. But if that happens, right, if there's ever like a lag in communication, please do not feel like you are bothering me. Simply resend whatever the initial message was again. Please don't ask me if I got your previous message because then I have to find it, right? Or then I have to like respond to you, no, I didn't get it, right? So those types of things um would be most helpful if you just resent whatever the initial message was so that way um, I can be re-alerted to it and respond, right? All right. And ethnic studies is something that I am just truly passionate about. It radically changed my life and how I understand and see the world. For example, when I was in my junior year of high school, I had a lot going on, but I had a 1.6 GPA. And I feel like you got to try to have a 1.6 GPA. Like, um, but I am an overachiever in in that regard, right? And barely graduated high school and found myself at Santa Monica College. And I know that all of you are in this space for a vast number of reasons, whether it's economic or academic, or you're just trying to, I don't know, take a class because you're interested in something. Um, but for me, at Santa Monica College is where I first began to take courses that really resonated with me, and including an African American history course um, taught by a now retired professor. And I remember thinking, oh, I really want to keep doing this and learning more. And I wound up going into Africana Studies, which is a subdiscipline of ethnic studies. And from there, I found myself just doing a fascinated, hardcore neurodivergent deep dive that probably will happen for the rest of my life. Because it hasn't slowed down yet. But um but yeah, so I went from a 1.6 my junior year of high school, and when it came time for me to finish coursework for my PhD, I was at a 3.9. And so I say all that to say that it is never about where you're starting, right? So you can start from a whole host of places. You could have failed all of last semester, but you're here now. Great. Um, whomever you are is based upon the actions that you are taking right now, right? And the commitment to a path to do something different, or maybe to continue on the path that you are on if you're that person who already knows exactly where they are going. So if you have any questions about, I don't know, school, like whether it's transferring or graduate school, or more detailed questions about ethnic studies, or you just want to reach out and say hi, hello, you are more than welcome to reach out. I love to talk about those things. So whether it's through Pronto or through email, whatever makes you feel most comfortable, I will get back to you for sure. All right, so that's a little bit about me. Also, I am a mom. I am still a student as I am finishing up my dissertation this summer. Whew. And you're a professor, and so please have some grace with me as I will have grace with y'all as we continue throughout this learning experience together. All right, so how you can contact me. Email is fine. Isaacs_justice@smc.edu. And, you can reach me between the hours of 9 to 5, 9 to 6, Monday through Friday. And I will do my best to email you back within 24 hours. I will do my best. Realistically, to be 24 to 48. I'm not going to lie. However, if you message me via Pronto, I respond back much quicker. So usually my latest response time is 24 hours. But oftentimes I can respond back in minutes. So that I would argue would be the fastest way. We can also set up appointments for office hours. Office hours are held via Pronto. Pronto, you can download the app, and there's more information as to how to do that in the syllabus tab. But also, if you go into Canvas, if you're on a laptop specifically or a computer, right? If you scroll down at the very bottom, under the blue bar, right at the far left, you will see it will say Pronto. It'll show your courses, and you select this one, and you can reach out that way. So virtual office hours will be held on Wednesdays from 12 to 1. If you need to meet outside of that time, that is totally fine as well. Right, just let me know. So, required materials. There is not a required book for the course. However, there are a couple of texts that we will be using, such as the Racial Healing Handbook by Annalise Singh, but you will have a PDF copy of it. The one thing you do need to do that you are responsible for acquiring access to is Perusall. So if you have not already, please create a Perusall account. The fastest and easiest way to do so is to go through the homepage, right? So the homepage is where the weekly modules, or the weekly overview, the weekly overview will be posted for each week. The weekly overview is also going to be housed in the module section in case, I don't know, you can't find it for some reason. But for the first week, you'll see the weekly module, and the weekly module will have a link that is directed specifically to our class. And you'll need to have that done for week 2, as we will have an assignment based upon Perusall then. The burning question of the day: what the hell is ethnic studies? So, ethnic studies, I'm going to read you this definition and then I'll break it down. It's the interdisciplinary study of race and ethnicity, which is understood and written from the perspectives of major underrepresented racial groups in the US, so we're US specific, in order to understand the sociocultural, intellectual, and historical experiences that inform the construction of racial, gender, and cultural identities. This comes from Northern Arizona University. So when we say interdisciplinary, what that means is it encompasses multiple disciplines, right? So history, sociology, anthropology, political science, right? So a lot of the humanities, a lot of the social sciences, sometimes even the hard sciences, depending on where you are, can be included, right? Ethnic studies thinks about things from the lens of people of African descent in the US, from Latinx people, from Asian Americans, from indigenous peoples, right? And talks not just about oppression, but also talks about resilience, talks about identity, talks about culture, and how one understands themselves for themselves. And with that knowing, then navigates their lived experience. And so you're wondering, how did we get here? How did ethnic studies become a requirement? Why is this a class I got to take? What the fuck? Excuse my French. So you have George Floyd, who was murdered by Derek Chauvin, right, in 2020 during the summer. As a result of the death of George Floyd, you have protests erupting all throughout, not only the United States, but literally the entire world. And when I say the entire world, I know one of you is like, not Antarctica. Actually, yes. You got penguins protesting. Okay, not literally penguins, but you had the scientists who were in Antarctica protesting the murder of George Floyd and talking about Black Lives Matter, right? And so while this was not the first iteration of Black Lives Matter, it was this moment that made many institutions have to rethink how they are organizing and structuring their operations, right? And what ways does racism and discrimination and injustice live within them, right? And so as a result, you have Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, signing AB 1460 into law, which mandated that all students attending California State Universities take an ethnic studies course. Since this has then been adopted by the UC system, as well as K through 12, right? And so that is how you got here. You got here because of a protest. You got here because a Black man was murdered by the police. So blame police brutality if you're like, damn, I gotta take a summer class. I don't know. So you're like, how can ethnic studies apply to me as a person? How can it impact me? Why does it matter? What does it do for real? So studies have shown that it increases the likelihood of college graduation, and it empowers students' sense of identity, self-awareness, community, and civic engagement. It promotes belonging for first-generation college students, can help to cultivate racial literacy, and improve critical thinking and community building skills. So I'm looking forward to us doing a lot of that work in a short period of time. This is a summer class. I know there's a lot, a lot happening all at once, right? Because basically we are all expected to cover a semester's worth of work in basically 5 weeks. So I'm excited that I'm excited that we are on this journey together. And I look forward to getting to know all of you through your work, through your writing, through personal communication. And I hope you guys have a wonderful and empowered summer. All right. Take care.